I've never done a live stream before. So with the help of my lovely son Sutton, who's finally joining me on the channel for the first time, thanks to the help of Sutton, I'm going to try my first live stream, and it's pretty simple. I don't really have much planned, mainly just want to see if it works. But I do have some Funkos I wanted to look at. I picked up a few anime-themed Funkos that mean something to me. And I think I'll go ahead and just start opening these because I can save this recording and then, edit it or something later, right? Yeah. All right. So I'm going to open up June the Swan from Gachamon. And like Gachamon was really kind of cool to me, but I knew it as Battle of the Planets. Like growing up, it'd be this rare thing on a Sunday afternoon on some like UHF channel or whatever. And I'm talking about like 5 years old, really young, flipping through the channels. And I could always find Battle of the Planets, which was kind of a English language, North American repackaging of Gachamon. Never actually watched legit Gachamon, but watched a lot of Battle of the Planets, and I loved the character designs as a kid. I used to daydream about them. I don't know if June was my favorite, but they only had 2 in stock when I was at the bookstore, and I chose to pick up June and left the other one there. So let's see what June looks like out of the package. I don't know, are you much of a Gachamon watcher or not? I don't know, did a lot of people watch Battle of the Planets? Did a lot of people watch Gachamon? I'm never sure about these things. I know it's kind of noisy opening them up, but I just toss that down there. She looks great. She's got the visor. Everybody kind of had a bird theme in Gachamon, or G-Force was the name of the team in Battle of the Planets, but it's a really nice Funko. It has a problem that a lot of cool Funkos have where there's just small feet and a big head, so it's like tough to get it to stand up appropriately. Hopefully June stands up okay. I'm going to try here on my desktop. You can't really see. Yeah, she's not standing well. So one thing I'll probably have to do with June is have her like leaning up against something. I don't know. Those tiny little feet. I mean, come on. How are you going to stand on those tiny little feet when you got a gigantic head like that? Well, I got her to stand up briefly there. So she definitely has probably the tiniest feet of these Funkos I picked up. They also had some Full Metal Alchemist Funkos there. And I guess I was in the mood. I picked up all ladies here on this last shopping trip. But here, this is Olivier Armstrong. Uh-oh. You can see Q the cat is trying to chew up my microphone cord. Can you hold on to him there, Sutton? But let's go ahead and see what Olivier looks like. One of my favorite. She's a fan favorite. Every character from Full Metal Alchemist is probably a fan favorite to some degree. But let's see what Olivier Armstrong looks like as I take her out of this box here. So she, unlike June the Swan, actually has a base. So she's going to stand up really nicely. This is going to make this figure immediately 2 full star ratings better than June the Swan with no base. Though, surprisingly, I've learned how to balance her on those little tiny nubbins of feet. But, oh yeah, Olivier Armstrong, she stands up great. The hair is anime perfect. It fits the character great. Just a wonderful costume. That stand is that extra added little factor that this character needs. So I think overall, Olivier Armstrong, beautiful. Give her 4 stars as a Funko, where I give June 3 stars. And then we're going to wrap it up with my final Funko purchase here. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Riza Hawkeye. So let's see how Hawkeye looks coming out of the box. Hopefully she's got a stand on her like Olivier Armstrong did, since they're from the same line of figures. And she has a stand, but it's not attached. So her stand is actually different than, Hawkeye's stand is actually different from Armstrong's, but it doesn't really want to go into her foot very well. I like the way that Armstrong's is attached out of the package. Sutton, would you find that June the Swan box down there? I want to make sure I didn't throw a stand away. But yeah, so this one is pretty good, but you'll notice the difference here with Hawkeye. The stand just goes into a little peg, into a hole on her foot. But here you can see with Armstrong, she's got it like kind of going up under her cloak and giving her some support on the rear, and then that means there's no holes in her feet and no pegs to deal with. And then if only, yeah, June the Swan has a hole in her foot. So I think there's probably a peg support in her box. Ha ha! Sutton saved the day. He found the peg support, the stand that goes on June the Swan. So it looks like we're all good there. And that's it for the Funko. So June the Swan now gets up to a 4-star. And of course, as always, Olivier Armstrong, a 4-star. Hawkeye, a 4-star. And I gotta say, just for nostalgic purposes, now that I found the stand, it bumps up June the Swan to being my favorite out of these 3 Funkos. The nostalgia wins every time, right? I mean, there's gotta be other Gen X Battle of the Planets fans out there, right? And a few Gatchaman people and some G-Force people, and that's okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I thought I was just sitting here practicing talking to an empty room, which I've done before. You know, there's no shame in that. But thank you for commenting in the chat so that I know people are there. Let me know, do you have a favorite of these Funkos? Do you like June the Swan? Do you like Major Armstrong? Or do you like Hawkeye? Because like I said, nostalgia, Battle of the Planets, June the Swan is my favorite. I'm like, didn't I get pretty frustrated trying to hook this up, like kind of crying like a baby?
Yeah.
But who helped me out?
Me.
So thank you, Sutton, for helping me out. This is kind of weird because I got like a delay in what I'm looking at. So here's something I'm curious about. Like, I want to make the thumbnails better, but I don't really know what to do to make the thumbnails better. So if you've got any like advice and stuff to help me make the thumbnails better, I'd love to hear it. Like, one person has given me advice, and it's pretty cool because I'm like listening to it and stuff, but I'm just curious what other advice might be out there on this Friday night. It's so funny for me to like watch this monitor where I'm trying to like watch the chat and stuff and see what I did like 20 seconds ago, because this thing lags behind and I'm getting kind of a kick out of it. Like I'm watching myself say what I just said a few minutes ago, and it's kind of funny. Last Olympian, thank you so much for the support there, because it really makes me feel better to know that somebody's kind of, you know, not criticizing the thumbnail. So thank you very much, the Last Olympian. I don't know if any other folks are out there or not. Thank you, Michelob21. San Diego is such a beautiful town. Like, I was hoping I would get to go there in May for a work thing I've got, because I've been to San Diego twice in my life. Loved it both times, and I'm hoping I get to go back, but who knows. But yeah, I'm going to finish out. I've got, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So I guess I've got 7 more episodes of Death Note to watch. And I'm going to keep following, of course, Chainsaw Man until the season is over. And once I wrap up Death Note, which I'm going to try to do kind of quickly, like an episode a day or something like that. But once I wrap that up, it's straight into season 2 of My Hero Academia, which I'm probably going to do like I did with Attack on Titan, where it's like 2 reactions and a review, 2 reactions and a review, that kind of thing. Oh, thank you, Last Olympian, and thank you, Akari's channel, for the input, because that input actually means a lot to me. Graphic design does not come naturally to me. And then also, like, I do like go online and stuff, and I go to like these groups and things where people will try to help you with your graphic design stuff. But the advice they give isn't necessarily reaction video advice. Like it probably works well for the review videos and that kind of thing. But reaction videos kind of have their own separate set of rules that I'm trying to learn, and a lot of successful YouTubers don't really go that direction. Yeah, and My Hero Academia is probably the anime I should have started with, but I didn't. I started with Demon Slayer, and then I picked up the things I've picked up, and I've loved all of them. But I think this journey with My Hero Academia is going to be really nice. My son Silas has really been setting me up to go on a Dragon Ball journey that I think is going to happen soon. And, it's inevitable that with both of my sons, I'm going to have to do some JoJo stuff. But for me, I'm just kind of buying time until Attack on Titan wraps up. After that, then I'll find my new direction. Oh, and I'm getting really, really good feedback from Adam Portress, who loves The Robe. Adam, I did not expect you to jump into the comments, but for people who don't know, this is kind of one of my many like side gig things. But Hero Movie Podcast is my main creative outlet that Adam does with me. And if you look up there, you'll see Hero Movie Podcast is the name of his channel. You can go on there and you can find a review of RRR,
where I said leopards don't live in India, and like 100,000 Indian people told me, no, I was wrong. Leopards do indeed live in India. The most extreme face I make during a reaction there would probably be like, or it just might be like, hmm. But they all look fake. And the reason is because when I watch things, like even like I have watched the most extreme torture porn horror movies, and I've been like, ugh. And I've watched like the funniest comedies you've ever seen, and I've been like, that's funny. So I have to work hard to make these reaction videos work, and that's why I talk so much. So I got to work on capturing facial expressions like this. That might work. Or I could do like some goofy stuff, like use some filters from like TikTok and stuff that makes your eyes look big or your mouth look funny. I could probably do like some artificial filter stuff and get some. Oh, I gotta cover up that chest hair. It's way too enticing to Adam if I keep that chest hair out. The Michael McDonald Kabuki Theater. That's why I have to cover up the chest hair, because Adam just can't handle it. Oh, so I love what Akari's channel is saying here. I love it because he's kind of making me feel good about myself, so it's not fair. It's like saying, yes, compliment me, and I'll say I love those compliments. But Akari's channel is making me feel better at a time of self-doubt here leading into the holidays, when he said a lot of younger reactors focus on the shock or animation. What I love hearing in your vids is the insight of a father and someone who's older and wiser. I enjoy listening to the underlying themes. And I gotta say, Akari's channel, that I feel personally like I've been doing a weaker and weaker job of talking about the themes. I still talk about, what it reminds me of and illusions and the other stuff I've read, but I think I could probably do a better job at talking about why the things that I'm saying are important, or why those connections I'm making matter to me. Like that, I could do a much better job of. So the fact that you enjoy that sort of thing, Akari's channel, is going to help me have the confidence and the courage and whatever it is I need to make that more of a movement in my videos. So thank you for, just thank you for saying what you said, Akari's channel. Alec Burgess asks me, like, do you feel like you would still continue to watch anime as much without this YouTube channel? Yeah, because I watch a lot of it with my kids. And my youngest is 12, so he's still going to be around. He's going to be in the house for a while. And as a father who, I don't know, as a father who grew up in a lot of ways, I didn't have as much time with my own dad as I would have liked to have had. And I'm trying to give my kids more time with me. And like, I don't want it to sound like I'm throwing shade at my own upbringing or my own parents, because that's not it. I mean, I'm very grateful to have the parents I have, but I do like going the extra mile with my kids whenever I can. And I would still watch anime without this channel. I would still watch anime at this point, probably no matter what, because I'm kind of pulled into a lot of the stories, and I'm a comic book reader, and I love stories. And now anime and manga are giving me the stories comics used to give me. But my kids are going to watch it, and I love my kids, and I'm going to do anything I can to have common ground with my kids. They're not impressed by my books I've written. They're not impressed with my podcasts. They're not even that impressed with the YouTube channel, even though they are entirely 100% the reason for the YouTube channel. Or my kids, specifically my daughter, got it started. But, I'd still watch it just to have an excuse to spend time with them. Let's see if there's any other questions I can address until some new ones come in. The Last Olympian said, My Hero is my fave series right now. I'd love to see how you like how the story grows from here. And yeah, it's definitely a plan of mine to follow My Hero for a little bit. And I don't know how many minutes I've been doing this live stream. The last one I think I did for like 5 minutes, just to make sure that I had the technical stuff down. And this one, it looks like I got some technical stuff down better, some technical stuff down worse. But I didn't have to make my 12-year-old set it up. I was able to do it on my own, so that's worth something. But yeah, I think on this Friday night, it's getting close to 8 o'clock Eastern time, which I think it's standard now. I think Daylight's what just ended. We just need one time zone all year round. Save the hearts. Oh, Akari's channel. I'm going to go back to this latest comment here from Akari's channel. He said, I think your kids are impressed enough that you enjoy stuff they enjoy, like anime. We don't tend to show it because it's cheesy, but I love the side of parents being interested in our hobbies. So, yeah, I mean, I am lucky. I am so lucky to have three ridiculously cool kids. Like I love my kids. They're way cooler than I ever was at their age. They've got a whole lot going for them. And yeah, the fact that I'm lucky enough to get to spend time with them, forget about if it makes them happy. Forget about if it makes them better as adults to spend time with their dad. It's going to make me happier for the rest of my life how much time I got to spend with them in the house. And I've worked a full-time job, and I've also had like side gigs and side hustles, and I've still tried my best, tried my best to be present, tried my best to be goofy and silly. And sometimes, my wife's pointed out, sometimes one of my weaknesses is that I try too hard to be a friend and not enough to be a dad or something. I don't know. But, I'm doing what feels right, and I provide for them very well, actually. So, I'm just happy. And whether or not they're happy about me showing interest in their stuff, in fact, sometimes they roll their eyes and get annoyed when I sit down to watch their anime with them. But at the end of the day, it makes me happy. Maybe it's super, super selfish for me to want to spend time with my kids, but you know what? Call me selfish if that's. And I love what Adam had to say. Hero Movie Podcast. Look down in the chat. He said, "My dad was the sole key to being the nerd I am today." And Adam definitely has a cool dad. Like, he's told me a whole lot. Like, I know Adam pretty well. I know about his dad and his dad's relationship with comic books and stuff like that. And he's absolutely right. His dad is why he's the nerd he is today. And the reason I'm the nerd I am today is probably because my dad's cousin's wife, like my dad had a cousin named Tom. His wife's name was Gail. Gail took her son Tommy, and my mom took me to go see Star Wars in 1977. We were like 2-3 years old. Like, we were literal toddlers with diapers on our bottoms. And Gail and Shirley took these two kids to the Keith Albee Theater in Huntington, West Virginia, historical theater. And we ran up and down the aisles, like I said, probably with poop in our diapers, and pretended to shoot each other with laser guns. And the whole theater watched us as much as they watched the movie. And from that point forward, I had to love Star Wars in related media. Hey, Kenny, how are you doing? Is that, Kenny Ackerman? I hope it's not Kenny Ackerman, but hello, Kenny. Now, this is a pretty weak live stream because I had no topics picked. I just wanted to, come down and do it because it was Friday night and I had a little bit of time. But I promise you, I'm going to actually have some topics. I'm going to have some guests. I'm going to have stuff to talk about. And I'm going to do live streams that are similar to the various podcasts I do, where we just cover some fun stuff. And I love the idea. It's Kenny! But I love the idea that we could just all kind of chit and chat and stuff together. Because on a podcast, it's beautiful, the relationship you feel with your audience. But you don't get the real-time communication, or very close to real-time. You can probably get here on a YouTube stream, and I'm not like a Twitch guy. Twitch is probably not going to happen for me. But since my youngest 12-year-old son, since my 12-year-old taught me how to stream, I think this is going to be fun. So, hi everybody. Thanksgiving, yeah, I'm going to be putting episodes up next week. It'll be kind of like my typical episodes. I don't have any Thanksgiving special. I might take some time off, but you wouldn't really notice because I don't really record on Thursdays or Fridays very often. So I'll take Thursday off for sure. I'll probably record something Monday or Tuesday, put a couple episodes up, something Saturday, and then, I don't know, Sunday we'll have a nice podcast, I hope, Adam. A nice hero movie podcast about Enola Holmes 2, the anime from England starring Millie Bobby Brown that's live action and not an anime. And maybe not even from England, heck if I know. But it's got Henry Cavill, the Witcher, the former Witcher. Throw a coin to your Witcher. All right, so I just got the heck yeah from Adam. So that means I think I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye and stop streaming. But I don't know if I know how to stop streaming. So what if I have to stream for the rest of my life? What if, because I don't know how to stop, it goes on for the rest of my life? But it won't, because I just found the stop button. Thank you, everybody, for saying hi. Thank you, everybody, for joining me while I talk about nothing but garbage.
Like this? Hey, so I think I'm streaming again. Once again, no real warning. I just kind of stream whenever I get a chance, so I don't always have time to like let people know and do that kind of thing. I'm just hoping that everything's working well, that we're getting the proper audio input. Haha. So I'm kind of watching the live stream as I talk, and then I had to mute it so it didn't echo back. I'm slow, but I'll figure it out eventually. So here is what we got to do. I got some questions I forgot to answer from the live stream. And it's not that I forgot to answer, I just didn't see the questions during the live stream because, like I said, I'm learning to do all this stuff for the first time. Still, having a lot of fun learning how to live stream, but, still learning. But you guys are awesome. You're always patient. Um, Also, just something else I wanted to say is that I have kind of changed up the thumbnails a little bit. I'm having a lot of fun trying with the new thumbnails. I'm getting some good feedback because, last time I was kind of like rolling around, kind of like whining and moping about my thumbnails and that kind of thing. But it's all looking like better now. I'm feeling better about it now. I've gotten some really good responses because it was such a gross episode of Chainsaw Man that everybody wants to watch that. So the download numbers are up a tiny bit for that one. Trying to just communicate a little bit of emotion now through those thumbnails. And I'm having a little bit of fun. That's why I do all this, is just to kind of like have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first question here. Somebody had asked me if I plan on reading Berserk or Vinland Saga because these are definitely some of my favorites. I don't know who asked that question. I didn't write down the question asker, but I absolutely plan to read Berserk. I don't know how I'm going to handle the anime. I'm going to read it though, because I see these beautiful hardcover like omnibus collections, and I gotta read Berserk. I've heard the anime can disappoint fans of the manga. I don't know. I'm pretty easygoing though, so definitely reading it is step one, and then I'll take it from there. As far as Vinland Saga, I've actually watched a tiny bit of it. It's really cool. That's one that rather than read the manga, I'll probably pursue the anime. It's just one I might just watch on my own and then maybe do a review or something rather than reactions because I really, really like that historical era, and I like kind of weighing the historical stuff. And in the moment, that's when I probably wouldn't say much. It'd be like not my typical reaction where I'm a big jabberjaws. Yeah, other people in the chat are telling me that, yeah, that is not a great anime, the one for Berserk, which is too bad because it is such a beloved manga. I mean, I've had so many recommendations of the manga, saw the hardcovers, really, really like that. But yeah, I plan on reading the manga for Berserk, watching the anime for Vinland Saga. Those are two that I could do just for myself, or I might make some videos on, or I might watch them and let it just like sit in the back of my head, or read Berserk and let it sit in the back of my head for a few months and then come out and do a video. But that's one where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to take care of myself a little bit and just have a little bit of fun with both of those because they both seem to be in settings that I absolutely love. Now, there's a question from Sound of the Void here. And Sound of the Void asks, are you planning to write a book in the near future? I wrote 5 novels, and they were all fantasy, light-hearted fantasy. I wouldn't call them light fantasy. I tried to structure it a little bit differently than that, but they're light novels in my sense, not like in the Japanese version of a light novel. But humor. Humor's big, mixed in with sci-fi, mixed in with fantasy. And I enjoyed what I did, but the return on investment in terms of the amount of time you put in, like as I put about months, I mean like maybe 2 months worth of effort into writing some of the shorter novels, and about 100 people read them, which is awesome. I mean, I feel really blessed to have 100 people wanting to read my novels. But then as far as communicating with people, reaching out, feeling creative, contacting people, I do reach more folks here with YouTube than I do with novels, and I can make like 30 videos, 50 videos with the effort it'd take to write one novel. Something I would like to do again in the future is actually write another comic book though, because 8 pages of a comic book script made me more money than writing entire like 200-page novels did. Not that money's everything, but you really get to be creative, you get to work with a team, you're not all alone, it's kind of cool. So I would probably prefer to do another comic book story over another novel. just the effort it takes and the return on the investment in terms of time spent versus the appreciation from people. And, if you're going to write something, you're going to get criticized. And I've never claimed to be a great writer, but the criticism can still hurt. So, yeah, probably not writing any more novels. Would be interested in a comic book. I would be interested in writing stories and maybe presenting them in like a video format or something. I'm not much of an artist, but I'm still thinking of ways to kind of do stories or skits or maybe make short films or something. I don't know, but I think my storytelling probably would be more video than writing in the future. And let's see here. Somebody says, finally catch you live from, I think it's Albedo. So thank you, Albedo. And I just wanted to refer you Berserk too. So somebody else who's a big fan of the Berserk manga. And he also mentions Violet Evergarden, which I've actually, somebody was over for our friend's giving yesterday. And she said she was a big fan of Violet Evergarden. It's one of those, I feel like I hear this about at least 2 out of every 3 anime. I hear the first season's great and then it falls off, or the first parts is great and then it falls off. I've heard that about Violet Evergarden too, but I feel like I hear that about everything, so I just have to watch and judge for myself, right? But yeah, Damien didn't even know that I'd written a book. Yeah, you're not missing out on much. They're not great. Honestly, I did it all by myself. Couldn't afford an editor, couldn't afford a cover artist, couldn't even afford a proofreader, so it's really amateurish. I don't like to talk about it a whole lot, but also I don't lie and hide things and keep them secret either. But in my own estimation, I call it pretty amateurish. And every single episode is great of Violet Evergarden. Perfect. And the movie. So maybe what I heard was wrong. Maybe I'm even getting Violet Evergarden confused with something else, but I had strong recommendations for it last night. Also, one of my wife's friends that she went to school with was here last night, and she said she loves Steins Gate. And my wife went back to college later in life, so her friends are like in their mid 20s. So I was asking them if, hey, they might want to talk about Violet Evergarden or might want to talk about Steins Gate or some of their favorite anime. Just, I love having guests. It's fun to talk to people about it. So maybe I will go down those pathways. And they're asking how much anime I've watched overall. The stuff I haven't really talked about much on the channel that I have watched, I mean, not counting going back to my youth when I liked Battle of the Planets, which was a Gachamon kind of English version. I also have watched Trigun without really talking about it much on the channel. That happened way back, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I'm not so good with time, but I watched Trigun years back. Really enjoyed that. I've also been watching a little bit of Hunter x Hunter, which is cool. I went back and forth between the sub and the dub. For me, it just feels more serious with those Japanese voices when I have to read the subtitles. For some reason, it just seems like a bigger deal when I watch the sub instead of the dub, so I'm probably liking that more there, but I've kind of held off. Dorohedoro, I was watching to kind of give me a little bit of perspective for Chainsaw Man. Been watching a lot of Dragon Ball stuff with my elder son Silas. We've kind of been on a little bit of a Dragon Ball kick. Mostly been watching some Dragon Ball Super, but I plan to go back and watch the Dragon Ball Z abridged, and hopefully he'll watch it with me, and we can have some fun little videos from that. But we're kind of getting into Dragon Ball. He's really getting into a whole lot of Dragon Ball action figures for Christmas, and I think that's driving it more than the story. But, I used to be kind of anti-Dragon Ball because I went to see this Dragon Ball movie, Frieza Returns, probably around 2013, something like that. And didn't really like it a whole lot, so I kind of had some negative thoughts on Dragon Ball. But now I'm coming around. I saw the superhero movie, and it was great. And let's see, Steins Gate is the GOAT of anime sci-fi. I've had a lot of people recommend Steins Gate. Now having somebody to talk to about it, it would be fun. Comic books, people encourage me to, pursue that comic book writing, comic book script. It's kind of a fun thing to write, and you get to put appendices and stuff in. I have all the notes written to do like not exactly a how-to video, but to break down what the process was like when I wrote the one traditionally published comic book story that I brag about all the time that was published in the UK. So I do have a video to talk about that character Yao and how that went. Somebody else is telling me that I definitely say Violet Evergarden has no bad content. So that's another vote for Violet Evergarden. I'm going to have to check that. Okay, so Rhinos is asking me if Death Note's overrated in my opinion. I'm going to say no, because I haven't finished it yet. So it could end strongly. Also, it opens great. So, if you have a great first let's say 12, 13 episodes, then you have a pretty strong final 2, 3 episodes. Even though it sags a little bit, I'll forget about that sagging part and I'll love it for the strong start as long as it finishes strong. So I'm kind of going to reserve my judgment. And believe me, I'll make a little bit of a video talking about my impression on Death Note when the time is right. But if it doesn't end strongly, I may have some feelings along the lines of what a lot of people have said about Game of Thrones and its latter seasons over the year. But I'm going to withhold judgment until I've at least finished it. I haven't released the episodes yet, but I have watched up to 33, so I got 4 episodes left. I'm going to try to burn through those ASAP. My goal, I don't think I'm going to achieve the goal, but you never know. Magic can happen sometimes. I really wanted to wrap up Death Note before I jumped into season 2 of My Hero Academia, because I'm super excited for season 2 of that, but I just want to get another complete anime under my belt, because all I've got under my belt so far is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I'm 4 episodes away, so I could probably just chew through those in the next couple days. But regardless of what kind of progress I make on Death Note, I will be starting My Hero Academia season 2 by December 1st. I really love the month of December because you get a lot of eyeballs on your videos. More people seem to watch in December than elsewhere. Also, the advertising revenue is better in the Christmas season. So I'm going to try to get that My Hero Academia out by December 1st. Sometimes it's hard to pump up the schedule, but last year I was able to do it and get something out almost every day in December. I'm going to try again this December. But also, it's not worth it if it ends up in burnout. So I'm just going to, see how things are going. Oh, somebody tell me Vinland Saga goes hard. I'm sure that you folks have watched the TV show Vikings. It was on the History Channel. I don't know what it's on now, if it's still on the History Channel. Love that show, the first couple seasons. Well, once the second generation of Vikings came up and it was changing a little bit, I sort of lost touch with it. I'm nowhere near current now, but Vinland Saga, I would like to capture some of the love I had for Vikings on the History Channel, only in anime form this time around. Season 2 is coming out soon. I did read about that. In fact, I think maybe in January, so it'd be kind of cool if I could get caught up in time, but I don't think that's going to happen. Hey, somebody says that my content makes their day. This is Jessima. I don't know if I'm saying that right, or Jessima. Thank you, Jessima, Jessima. I really appreciate that. Not really for kids from Albedo there. I think he's talking about Death Note ends strong. So yeah, I'm really hoping it ends strong. That's what people are telling me. That's what I'm hammering down for. And I don't want to spoil the videos I haven't released yet, but I did like episode 33. So it's getting me back in the mood as we wrap it up, though it's really late in the game and they keep introducing new characters. Let's see, have you heard of 86? My friend Chris Elvins from Canada. Somebody's asking me if I've heard of the anime 86. My friend Chris Elvins from Canada loves that anime. I don't make any secret about my love for Attack on Titan. Still say it's my favorite anime. He says 86 is a better anti-war anime than Attack on Titan. Now, I haven't watched 86 yet, but I know quite a bit about it, and I will jump into it at some point. Also, Tokyo Revengers, I got to figure out how I'm going to tackle that one. But yeah, 86, he sings high praises, so maybe I'll be a little disappointed, but he's also not the biggest Attack on Titan fan. Oh, My Hero content. People are happy to know that December we're going to be a My Hero month. Once again, I don't want to make promises because that's the surest way to turn myself into a liar. But what I anticipate is doing something like I did on season 2 of Attack on Titan. Watch 2 episodes, come out with a review. Watch 2 episodes, come out with a review. I may go 3 or 4, just depending on what the arcs look like. But, eventually I'd like to follow an arc and then do a review. But until you kind of know how the arcs are playing out, sometimes you just go 2 in a review, 2 in a review. That's what I think I'm going to do, and that'll help make that season 2 a lot of fun. I wish I'd jumped on My Hero earlier so I could have been current with this season, but maybe by the time the next season comes around, I'll be caught up because, I did some impressive catch up with Attack on Titan. The engagement's good with My Hero Academia. The viewership's good, so, it makes it easy for me to tackle that one. Oh, this is somebody, Mia Corey, says, hi, found your YouTube from your review of Demon Slayer with your daughter all the way back, which is awesome. That's how this channel got transformed from a comic book channel into an anime channel. Really love sharing anime with my dad, even if he doesn't understand it. And your bond reminds me of that. Keep up the amazing work. So thank you, Miyakori, Sword Village arc. Versal's talking about the Sword Village arc, which is the next arc on Demon Slayer. I'm excited about that. You know, Demon Slayer is a no-brainer. I'll be covering that as long as it's made because, you know, that Demon Slayer video that got like 130,000 views is the whole reason my channel got into the YouTube Partner Program. I mean, the stuff I'm doing now would have never got me where Demon Slayer got me. So I'm always going to be covering that one just out of appreciation and all that. But yeah, somebody told me 86 is a good mecha anime. What's funny is with mecha animes, I'm kind of hit and miss. I haven't really enjoyed a good one, but I've heard so much about Gundam's Iron Blooded Orphans, so I want to watch that. I heard that's a great mecha anime, but I will be watching 86. Let's see. Oh yeah, just somebody else saying I found him from the Demon Slayer. That's Versal again. So yeah, that Demon Slayer video went out to a whole lot of people. So I did get a whole lot of folks from that. And like I said, I appreciate all y'all, and I'll keep watching that. Let's see. Here is something else I wanted to mention, is that Christmas is fast approaching, and I am looking for great recommendations. Oh, they don't have to be great. Moderate recommendations, either even mid recommendations. I'm just curious about recommendations for Christmas anime. Last year, I had fun and did a Tokyo Godfathers review video. I don't know what to do this year for Christmas, so I'm always like all ears here if you've got any good recommendations on Christmas. Growing the beard out to be Santa Claus, so you know, I will be recording that Christmas video while the beard is still here. Though I do plan to shave when December gets here. This is part of my no shave November, which I think I'm excelling at with my shaggy beard. So I'd like to do my Santa Claus imitation Christmas video before I shave the beard. Let's see, we got you're dealing here with anime lovers. You see you at your audience here, staying with you for all of your anime reactions and reviews. Yeah. Oh, somebody else telling me Iron Blooded Orphans is indeed one of the best Gundams, and that comes from Tiger Wolf. Rhinos says Attack on Titan is one of his favorites too. You know, I love it. I mean, even when anime is not that great, you know, there's stuff that's obviously not good, but I have fun with it. Like the like the fart anime that was in German. I don't know that anybody would say that's a great anime, but it's kind of fun to watch it and have it. So this has been a great experience for me. There's like so much entertainment that is laying out there before me. I do have a little bit of like a struggle sometimes though, because like a show will move from Funimation to Crunchyroll, and I have both of those. I have subscriptions to both of those, but trying to keep track with it, remember where I left off, can be strange if it drops from Funimation. I personally, for reactions and stuff, prefer Funimation to Crunchyroll. It works better from a technical side of things. So I'm missing a lot of the things that are leaving Crunchyroll, and leaving Funimation and going to Crunchyroll, and I'll absolutely miss Funimation if it goes away altogether. When the time comes, will you watch Steins Gate on your own or put it on the channel? So I've talked about this a bit before, but I was going fast and throwing a bunch of stuff in. Steins Gate, I will watch and I will talk about. I don't know if I'll do reactions or just reviews. That's yet to be figured out. My wife's friend Cassidy, I was talking to her last night, and she's a Steins Gate fan. So I might watch a few as an outsider and then talk to her about it. Kind of the way that I did that video with Josh on the Chainsaw Man 1 and 2, the outsider, bringing him in. Maybe I could do like a little, you know, video thing with her and have her talk about Steins Gate. It's kind of fun. I mean, it's like with my daughter and Demon Slayer that got me in the first place. It's kind of fun being like the old man with the younger person explaining it and kind of walking you through it. So we may have some of that with Steins Gate. So reactions, as much as I enjoy doing them and they're kind of reliable to do, I do sometimes feel like reactions don't have as much creative content, and I'm trying to do more reviews whenever possible. Once again, I'm failing at it sometimes, but trying to do more reviews to pepper in with the reactions. And also want to do more like the tier list videos and those sort of off the beaten path videos. I like doing those 3-4 times a year just to, you know, keep down on the burnout. I think they're kind of fun. It gives me something else to do. Let's see. Oh, Chirac says, just left a real crappy job, and towards the end, he was honestly using my videos as a palate cleanser most days during breaks for some positivity. Chirac, I think I pronounced that Sirac, and maybe Sirac. I actually left a job that I once loved that had become really crappy back in June. Had a little bit of time off, started a new job in September that I absolutely love this new job. But the crappy job was a big part of why I did things like the YouTube channel and the podcast that I do, because it was like a creative outlet. It was escapism. Watching anime, great escapism. Watching superhero movies, great escapism. Reading comic books and manga, great escapism. And I really needed to escape that lousy job there for a few years. Now that I love my new job, I'm worried, is it going to hurt my production on the creative side? Because when I'm happier, I don't really feel like I need to, you know, be as creative and have the same kind of output. But also, I've made all these great relationships and connections. So I'm glad that I'm the happiest I've probably been in a long time. But also, I don't want to like get so happy I give up on things that I might need later in life to pick me back up if things start to get a little more mundane. Mob Psycho. I watched the first 2 episodes of Mob Psycho and I loved them. Absolutely loved them. Totally thought I would go back and like give it a more serious treatment. But instead, like I did like these pilot episodes. Oh gee, it feels like 2 years ago now. And I did Cells at Work and I did Mob Psycho. I did Hinamatsuri and I did Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Got the most watches on the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood reaction, so I followed that through. But yeah, I want to do something with Mob Psycho. I kind of feel bad that I didn't get caught up to speed before season 3 started. But, life is there to be lived. Just because I didn't do it now doesn't mean I can't do it later. I want to do something with Mob Psycho because it's fun. And I like the mangaka, One or One. Let's see what else have we got. Steins Gate fan, another Steins Gate fan. Inshin Impact, or is that Genshin Impact? Anyway, I'll have to check it out. Genshin Impact. Overlord. I've never checked out Overlord, but I've heard some things about it. And let's see, a voice actor from anime character in okay, that would be great. I'd love to be a voice actor. I would really like to be a voice actor on like a father character, like an actual anime dad. Like anime dad from his small YouTube channel gets to provide the voice of an actual anime dad. Only I don't want to be like Grisha. I'd like to be maybe a good one and not an awful one. Oh, asking me about watching other anime genres. Okay. I am loving the idea of watching Your Name. It's been on my to watch list for a while. I watched A Silent Voice just kind of on my own, and I loved A Silent Voice. And a lot of people are like, Your Name is also one of those great standalone anime movies like A Silent Voice. So I haven't watched it yet, but I will. I liked A Silent Voice so much, I talked two of my friends that I do a podcast, a comic book movie podcast with, into watching it for something we called Anime back in May. And we reviewed A Silent Voice. Next May, this coming May, I think I'm going to get him to review Your Name. Hopefully I will have watched it before then, but if not, we'll definitely cover it in May. Because it's one I just got to see. What winter anime am I looking forward to? I did a podcast about that, and I know I had stuff I was looking forward to, but I've forgotten now. Also, the list seemed kind of unimpressive compared to last winter. So, what winter anime are you guys looking forward to? I think what I was looking forward to were like season 2s. I don't know that there was any season 1 or maybe season 3s or something. I don't know, when are we getting more Jujutsu Kaisen? That would have me excited. So anyway, but yes, back to branching out to other genres of anime. Absolutely, I would love to branch out. But also, I know myself, I'm still, sometimes at my heart, I'm always going to be like a 10-year-old boy at my heart, and I'm going to love the shonen type action stuff. Yeah, other people telling me Your Name is solid and sad. And, A Silent Voice made me cry pretty rough crying. So I bet I'll cry even harder on Your Name. We'll just have to see. So there was a time when I was watching 3 or 4 animes all at once. Did I feel kind of burned out from that? Yeah. And sometimes your pride will keep you from wanting to use that phrase, burned out. So I wasn't saying I was burned out, but I was overwhelmed, which is kind of what burnout is, or overwhelms at least the first step. And then trying to keep track of it. And then I had like what we would call bunny ears if you were like a referee for a sporting event. We would talk about bunny ears. We hear every single complaint and it interferes with your ability to be a good referee. Well, I kind of had bunny ears with the comments, and every comment that even seemed like the slightest bit critical, I was taking it too seriously. So yeah, watching 3 or 4, the burnout was happening. So now I like to be focused on something new, like Chainsaw Man, because it comes out once a week, and therefore I can't overdo it. You can only react once a week if it's only releasing once a week, and then I throw something else in. So like working with two is really good because I need an old one as like something to keep me going a couple days a week, and then the new one, is kind of the anchor that keeps the week down. So that's why I'm saying I kind of want to finish Death Note before I move on to My Hero Academia, because we still got quite a bit of Chainsaw Man left before that season's up, and I'm having too much fun covering it. And also my daughter loves it, so it's something I get to do with her, even though I gotta tell you, it is very uncomfortable watching Chainsaw Man with your daughter. Let's see what else we got here. Gotta watch Your Name. A whole lot of votes for Your Name. Sword Art Online. Of course, I've got to watch Sword Art Online. It's just such a a pop culture keystone. Sword Art Online, and I liked Ready Player One, the book, when it came out. I even read Ready Player Two. Not as good, but people are saying like, why are you wasting your time on Ready Player Two? You need to be uh, taking in some Sword Art Online, which is a better version of that story. So yeah, I gotta tackle Sword Art Online. Just don't know when, because it takes me, if I'm doing a reaction, it takes me about 2 hours or more to watch an episode, because you got to watch it, edit it. I edit it twice because I do a Patreon edit, which is actually pretty quick because I don't really cut much out of that. Then it takes a lot longer to do the YouTube edit. But speaking of the editing, I've gotten some positive feedback, and I was having some fun with the new way that I edited the reaction to the latest Chainsaw Man episode, Chainsaw Man episode 7, and then I've done that with some other episodes that I think maybe haven't been released yet, but kind of turning up the transparency so you can see through the picture, keeping the picture up the whole time. I've seen a lot of people do that, and I never very much liked it, but I thought I'd give it a try something different, getting some positive feedback. I'll probably keep the transparent image up for some things. When I tried it with My Hero Academia, it kept getting copyright claims. So for that, I'm gonna have to do the 4 second blinks, or what I call them, 4 seconds of picture, 4 seconds of no picture, that kind of thing. So for My Hero, I'll have to keep doing it like that. But for Chainsaw Man, I'm doing a little something different and doing that with Death Note, and we'll see how it goes. Oh, he said it'd be fine if you do like 2 reactions a week. Finish 2 animes first and then go with another 2 after that. There's enough content anyway. Okay, I like that, because two reactions a week would be nice. Then I could do like these Sunday live streams to get feedback. ReZero, I've heard a lot of good things about ReZero that people are saying. A lot of isekai is hit and miss. I understand that, but boy, there's so much isekai out there, and I'm yet to actually comment much on an isekai. The only isekai I've really watched is How a Realistic Hero Saved the Kingdom. I watched the first season, or was it the first half of the first season anyway? I watched like the first 12 episodes of that. And I haven't really watched much else that's isekai yet, but I need to probably dig into that because it's such a big genre. I at least need to find some of the good isekai, right? Let's see. Uh, Somebody commented on the Manscaped tee. I was just looking for a black t-shirt. I thought it was solid black, and then I put it on. Manscaped is not a sponsor of the channel in any way, shape, or form, but they did sponsor a podcast, Hero Movie Podcast, like 2 years ago. And as part of that sponsorship deal, they sent us some merch. So I got a t-shirt and some stuff like that. But yeah, that's where I got the Manscaped shirt. I didn't buy it. It was a gift from Manscaped because they sponsored us for 1 month. And it was November, which you might have heard me talking about No Shave November before. That's like the worst time I would imagine for Manscaped to try and pick up a new sponsorship, is when nobody's shaving. Oh yeah, he's talking about asking Sophia back. Yeah, Sophia's definitely going to be watching Chainsaw Man. She has a very busy schedule. She's also getting really close to that time in life when you're applying to colleges. She's already visited a few colleges. She's very busy with school. Takes her grades and her schoolwork very seriously. She's in the band, so that keeps her very busy. But yeah, she will continue to watch Chainsaw Man with me as much as possible. It's hard for her to make videos every week, but we'll do as much as we can. She's so important to my life, so she's always welcome, of course, on the channel. Let's see. Raruni Kenshin 2023. Yes, I We'll have to check that one out. Samurai stories sound good. Let's see. Have I ever gotten hit by copyright strikes? No. I don't know how much you know about the copyright strike system, but typically you get a claim first. And if I get a claim, I immediately take down the video and I re-edit it and I try to put it up so it doesn't get a claim. Strikes usually only happen if you get a claim and you dispute the claim and you lose that dispute, then you get the strike. So I'm scared to death of copyright strikes. I've gotten lots of claims, but once again, mostly for reaction videos because the ID, the content ID program that YouTube uses will pick up the music and stuff really more than the video, but sometimes it'll pick up the videos too. But fortunately, I've only been dealing with claims and not strikes. I know some other anime and manga folks have actually had to deal with strikes, but sometimes they don't tell the whole story and I don't necessarily know the whole story. But like everything that went down with Totally Not Mark, I know a lot of you are familiar with that. I don't think he got any strikes. He just got like hundreds of claims. So I get lots of claims. Fortunately, knock on wood, no strikes yet. Let's see here. Watching together with the daughter aspect is fun. Yeah, and that's something that I thought would differentiate me a little bit from other folks on YouTube is the whole family aspect because obviously not just Sophia, but I've had Silas watch a couple of videos with me and he's probably going to start watching more. He's really into Dragon Ball, so I'm thinking he and I could watch some of the Team 4-Star Dragon Ball Z abridged videos together and that might be fun. So I'm looking for something to do with him. My youngest will maybe want to watch something with me too. He was in one of the live streams. He's the guy who helps me set up the live streams. And then, of course, Sophia, she's the shonen mainstay, so she'll always be with the big shows. Black Clover fans. I know some Black Clover fans, but I have yet to tackle Black Clover myself. But I've got a friend, his daughter's favorite manga is Black Clover, and I imagine it's her favorite anime too, but I'm not positive about that. I'm starting to look like somebody from Vinland Saga. The problem, Akari's channel, is it's all fat and it's no muscle. So, yeah, the hair and the beard, I always feel cool. I collect swords. I got foam rubber swords. I got metal swords. I got a little bit of leather armor. I love Viking stuff. I love medieval stuff. But, you know, I'm not going to pull up the shirt, but it's all fat and it's not muscle. But, you know, in an old Viking movie or something, you always needed the fat guy who was in charge, so maybe I could be that guy. Oh, Black Clover's long. Yeah, a lot of episodes there. Oh, when editing, if you see scenes that have no dialogue and it's mostly music, you also have to cut it out or at least mute those to avoid claims or strikes. This comes from Akari's channel. Yeah, one thing that I do, if you watch what I release on YouTube, you'll see that I always take out the ED because the music and the credits in the ED get a copyright claim every time. And even in the OP, I can leave some of the images up, you know, when I'm talking, but I try to take the music out of the OP whenever I do that because music gets me the most. Obviously, what I do on Patreon, one nice thing about Patreon is there's no commercials. You know, there's no ads on Patreon, so they don't have the same rules don't apply when you don't have commercials in there because that's where copyright really becomes an issue. Fair use is really hard to argue if you're making money from ads, but if you're not placing ads, fair use gets a lot easier of an argument to make. So on Patreon, fair use is an easy argument. So there I don't cut anything. It's just like the whole episode with the volume turned down, me and a little block on the corner. But on YouTube, I do cut out the music as much as possible, OP, ED. Also, I try to cut out parts where I'm not talking because usually I talk loud enough and I keep going enough that it sort of mixes in with the music and it confuses the content ID, I think. I don't know. I seem to do well as long as I cut out the silent parts. So not only do I talk a lot, but it even looks like I'm talking more because I cut out the parts where I don't talk in order to prevent the copyright strikes. That's also why I did the 4-second cuts. I found it takes closer to 8 seconds to get identified, I think. You know, I'm just guessing here, so that's why I do the 4-second cuts on some videos. Let's see. Do I watch any anime YouTubers? There is one channel that I kind of watch for advice, I guess. Like like not advice, but I see what they're doing because they started about the same time I did. They were covering the same shows I was covering, and they had a family dynamic. But then one of the family members left, and the other guy's doing it alone now. It was called Two Brothers React. Now it's called A Brother Reacts. They covered Attack on Titan around the same time I was, Full Metal Alchemist, Death Note. So I do watch that channel a little bit to see what they're doing. That's kind of when I finally, after watching it for a while, decided to edit like they do with the clear image that you can see through. But I still like to have my own style. I look at thumbnails a lot. A lot of times when I'm watching another reactor, I'm kind of like scrubbing through. I'm not watching the whole thing, but I'm just looking, how are they reacting to this part? Like, I'm watching it because I want to see people who are, like, I don't want to see somebody with 1 million views because that's just out of my reach. But I see somebody with 10,000 views, 100,000 views, 30,000, you know, I have done that before. So I just see what other people who are more successful than me are doing. And, you know, I see if there are things that work for me that I can kind of like borrow or be inspired by. And then I see things, it's like, you know, this might work for a guy who's 30 and doesn't work for a guy who's pushing 50. Like, oh, He Hulk! He Hulk is in the chat. I'm sorry I didn't see this sooner. Matt Evans, He Hulk, but member of the Hero Movie Podcast patron group is on here. And he says a pilot friend of his had a detached retina, needed emergency surgery, might not fly again. He found the doctors very cold. Later heard eye doctors have a rep for low empathy. You may wonder why Matt Evans is asking me this question. Tiger Wolf says, I'm right there with you, Bruce. Viking bodies for the win. Yeah. The chubby hubbies. We're ruling it here. DC, Marvel, or anime? So rhinos. That is $1 million question. It depends on where I am in life. Right now it's anime. Got a little Marvel fatigue from all the MCU stuff. Comic book wise, I was always a DC fan first, even a DC apologist, but once again, I've had a little bit of fatigue of defending DC when they just, it's like, okay, you're on your own. There comes a point in time where I was like, I'm not defending you guys anymore. But I was always a DC first, Marvel second, though Marvel was really big in my life at certain points in time. But now it's all anime. So today it's anime. In the past, flip a coin, mostly DC, a little bit of Marvel in those junior high years. So should we call you? Please, no. I kind of like to keep it a secret what I do for a job, Damien. So please don't call me Dr. Bruce. I don't really like to talk about that on here. Sorry to take you off topic. Very interesting answer. Thank you, Matt. Anything's on topic on a live stream, though. You know, that's what it's here for. It's just to talk. I think this is the longest I've ever live streamed too. But you guys are around, and I'm finding myself being kind of long-winded here. I don't know. Somewhere there's probably a way to tell how long I've been doing this. Oh wow, 42 minutes. Are you guys bored of me yet, or do you want me to keep going for a little while? Now, where in the world did I? Haha, this is what I like. But anyway, in terms of comics, I enjoyed Invincible from Akari's channel. Invincible's great. I always liked Invincible. Do I like it better than The Walking Dead would be a tough question. Probably just depends on the arc or whatever. The art, Ryan Otley. I love Ryan Otley's art in Invincible. Probably do prefer the art there. But boy, that Invincible animated series on Amazon Prime was fabulous. I've even seen a lot of people saying, hey, it's like an actual American anime. It's kind of got that anime groove to it. So yeah, I love Invincible. Absolutely love it. Probably like the animated show better than the comic because I've got like one trade paperback that I've read of Invincible and didn't really read all the comics, but I'll definitely be following the animation. Mr. Bruce, you try other Japanese media like light novels or video games. Well, I'm glad you asked about video games because I think in the very near future, we're going to be getting Dragon Ball Fighter Z for our PlayStation. Silas really wants it, so it'll be something maybe for Christmas. You know, no spoilers here. But yeah, so I even talked to him. Maybe we make some Dragon Ball Fighter Z videos and kind of put some humorous voiceover on them or something like that. But yeah, video games, that's my kids' purview. But I want to check out that Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I want to check out that Demon Slayer video game that looks really cool. I really like live action Japanese entertainment. I love Japanese cinema, live action Japanese cinema. I like live action Japanese TV shows like growing up, I really liked Space Giants, which I don't know what the Japanese name for it is, but it's a tokusatsu with robots turning into spaceships, and at least one of them's a giant. So I like that. So I get a lot of nostalgia. Kamen Rider, Ultraman. Like there's a new, not new, but like an '80s Ultraman or something that I can see on ShoutFactory.tv or something like that. So yeah, I like Japanese stuff. Japanese horror, live action Japanese horror is awesome. I mean, you got your mainstays like The Grudge and The Ring, but then you also got your creepy stuff like Audition and Tetsuo the Iron Man. But yeah, I like other Japanese media. I like the King Kong movies, Criterion Collection. I went back and watched a lot of samurai movies. I love the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. I really enjoy some Kurosawa. I watched The Hidden Fortress. I watched Yojimbo. Haven't seen Seven Samurai, so I might want to see that. But I like Japanese cinema quite a bit. Live action cinema, live action shows, in addition to anime. And let's see here. Always taking good care, always good talking anime. That's what it says. So let's go for another 100 hours. You probably break the world. No, I got stuff to do. I'm sorry. I got a podcast to record here in about 3 hours. I haven't eaten yet today, really, other than had a little bit of some chocolate chip bread this morning. So I got to eat. I got to do some stuff. But I'm impressed that I've actually gone an hour and people have stuck around, because I thought it might be one of those lonely things, one of those sad things, like 10, 15 people show up and then next thing you know, you're talking to two people. But yeah, we got some folks here staying in. There's some Juji Ito live action movies. I have to check that out because, as you probably noticed, I fell in love with Juji Ito this October. You even got a nice Juji Ito T-shirt, nice Juji Ito coffee cup. But I want to see the live action stuff too. I bet it's pretty creepy. And another good anime to add to the list is Parasite the Maxim. Friend of mine, Matthew Vandiver, who I do the Anime IO podcast with, he has absolutely recommended Parasite the Maxim. He also really likes an anime called Monster. So, a lot of recommendations. I get recommendations from every direction. And, I try to watch them, but the ones that are easiest to watch are the ones my kids are into, because then I just sit down in the living room, watch them with my kids. Let's see if there are any other points I wanted to make. Let's see. Somebody had mentioned that. I'm sorry. Somebody had really mentioned that I showed some pictures of me when I was in college, and they'd mentioned that I look a lot like my son in that picture, which makes me kind of proud. I think my son's a handsome fella. So somebody tells me, like, I'm the spitting image of my son back when I was 18, 19 years old. Well, I'm going to wear that like a badge of honor, like that picture with Chuck Yeager specifically. My nose keeps itching here. Sorry, I'm not like picking it, but it's just itchy. I think it's the whole mustache getting a little too long. Couple things here I just wanted to touch on before we wrap it up. Somebody had asked me in the comments on one of the Death Note videos, after L died, is that when I started to lose interest? Yeah, absolutely. That chemistry between L and Light and that tension between the two was awesome. And when he died, I felt like I was caught off guard, blindsided, wasn't happy with it, but I'm starting to get past that. I've moved beyond that. I was really enjoying episode 33, so we'll see how it wraps up. Let's see, anything else on here I wanted to make sure that I pointed out. I don't know what January is going to hold, because by then Chainsaw Man will be done. Of course, I'll still be going pretty good with My Hero Academia, but I'll find some second thing to add in there. We'll see what January holds. Haven't made up my mind yet about that. Probably going to get a haircut soon. People were talking about the Viking look, but it gets in my face sometimes, like you see, and it gets a little aggravating. So I'll probably get a little bit of a haircut soon. Probably trim the beard up. Going to shave when December gets here. But my current wafu, I think what you're asking is waifu. So my current waifu, my anime crush would still be Izumi Curtis. I don't know if anybody's going to beat Izumi Curtis in that regard. Right age, right kind of person, working well for me. Now, my actual wife is not Japanese. She's Filipino, so a little bit of difference there. But boy, this has been awesome. We've been going strong for 49 minutes here. Reacting to Japanese music, really all I know about Japanese music are OPs, but boy, are there some good OPs out there. I mean, EDs too, but the OPs are what really catch my attention, because I'm usually talking through EDs, which not the best trait, but it is. But yeah, I'd love to react to some Japanese music. I absolutely have some favorite OPs too. Maybe I could do like my personal favorite OPs, which I sort of feel bad doing like my top 10 list when I've only watched 15. I don't know. Have I seen 15 anime? I don't know. Maybe I've only seen. It's hard when you've seen 15 anime to sit here. These are the 10 best OPs of all time. But I could talk about some of my favorites. So that would be fun. But yeah, reacting to original soundtracks, that would be cool. But the problem is music, man. YouTube really doesn't like you playing much music. The people that I know, well, not that I know, I don't know any of them, but I'm on like a Discord group for people in the partner program and stuff, and they give advice and ask about how to do things. And it looks like whenever you react to music, you just go ahead and know you're going to get a copyright claim, and then you already have written up your rebuttal to that copyright claim about how what you're doing is adding criticism and it's transformative, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't have the fight in me to do a whole lot of music unless I just like, played 4 seconds here and then cut it out and then a little bit more so you can tell what I'm listening to. You can see my reaction, but you couldn't hear the whole song the whole time. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm not I'm not looking to make things harder with the whole content ID system. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up. You guys are awesome. Man, this has been so much fun. I want to do this. This kind of feels like a podcast. I've done a lot of audio podcasts, but this feels like a podcast where I can get real-time feedback. I'm kind of getting addicted to the live stream. I just hope I'm providing something of interest and not just rambling on. But you know what? There's pretty good turnout, so I think I must be doing okay. But yeah, live reactions and other platforms like the purple one. What's the purple one? Is that Insta? I know I could do TikTok. You can get away with anything on TikTok. So I could do live reactions to music on TikTok. The songs are small enough if I did one song at a time. That's a good thought. TikTok, they don't care about music copyright at all. They're built on disrespecting music copyright. That is TikTok. All right, well, people are saying thank you for spending time. And you know what? Thank you guys for being so supportive. Man, this would suck if I didn't have good people. 5, 10, 15, just a handful of good people is enough to keep you going. So thank you guys. Thank each and every one of you folks. And as always, I'm proud of you for watching anime, and I'll talk to you again soon.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who supports the channel on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. If you might be interested in Patreon perks like early access to videos, uncut reaction videos, ad-free videos, and the opportunity to vote on which anime will be covered in the future, then click on the link in the video description. Thank you.